Guys, we've got to talk about this book. It is literally amazing. It's actually written by the guy who created the company PayPal. And what's interesting is, while this book is about how to build companies that create something new, I feel like a lot of the content relates closely to growing on YouTube. And so that's why I'll be including it on this channel. So one of the things that I loved when I first started reading this book is it was saying at the very beginning that successful people find value in unexpected places, and that they build businesses in relation to principles versus just focusing on formulas. And the reason I think this is so powerful is, first, when it comes to YouTube, if you're looking for great video ideas in a place that no one else is looking, you're probably going to find the best content. And also, when it comes to principles, I love principles because I feel like they always work. And here's the thing, if for example, on YouTube, you were to apply the principle of consistency, you're pretty much guaranteed, at least to some degree, some results. And just by that sheer fact, I think there's real power in focusing on principles versus just trying to copy what someone else has been doing. The author poses a very important question in this book, and it's, what important truth do very few people agree with you on? And I would love to hear your answer in the comment section below. Because for me, my answer would be, I believe that government's laws should be based on an understanding of human nature. And I think a lot of people would disagree with me on this, because when you delve into politics, you will see a lot of evidence that people make decisions based off of emotion or how they might be feeling in that particular moment versus based off an understanding of human nature and off of history. And I feel like that's where a lot of the truth lies. And the reason this question is so important is, if you can understand what fundamental truth you believe that not everyone else believes, then you have something to build your channel and your content around that can give it a unique flavor. You know, controversy often brings engagement, which can actually help your content perform a lot better. So this question can actually bring to light possibly something that could help you create videos that get more reach. One question that kept coming to mind while I was reading this book is, what is something that no one else has ever done on YouTube? And I would love to hear your answer to that as well in the comments section below. As for me, I've always thought the coolest channel idea would be if somebody were to build a channel all around the idea of exploring those underwater caves that are all throughout the world, and to actually invent specific equipment that could be used to explore places where a human can never go. Now, I don't know if somebody's already doing that, but I think that would be so cool. And it's ideas like this that really can give you a chance to have your channel really grow. I've actually seen evidence with other things I've done on social media that if you hit the nail on the head with an idea, then it creates so much more potential for reach to that content that you're creating than if you were to ever do anything else in order to try to make your channel grow. In this book, there's an interesting chapter about how to build a monopoly with your business. And actually, my question to you would be, how could you build a monopoly on YouTube? And the answer the book gives for building a business that creates a monopoly is to actually dominate a small space first. And I completely agree with this because, for example, I built what I would argue is the best Facebook group for the YouTube niche. And I could have built a group that encompassed a larger group of people and their interests, but I picked a very small space within growing on YouTube, and I feel like this helped my group grow a lot faster. And if you could do the same type of thing with your YouTube channel, you're going to be a lot more likely to get those results that you're after. The author poses an important question, and it's, what valuable company is nobody else creating? And when I read this, it made me think, what valuable YouTube channel is nobody else creating? And I would say that this is really the key to getting the results that most of us desire when we create a channel. Because, for example, I don't think there's a channel out there that talks about specifically how to create a good filming space. And if somebody were to create that channel, they would be a lot more likely, I would believe, to get results quickly because it would be fresh and new content, where there's honestly a demand, but the demand is just not being met. Let me ask you something. Are you looking for secrets? This is actually the same question that the author poses in this book, and his answer as to how to find them is to look where no one else is looking. And when I first read that, I thought, well, that's kind of stupid. But then I thought more about it, and honestly, we often follow everyone else when we're trying to, study the competition and hopefully create better content. But honestly, if we go where no one else is, we're likely to find things that have never been discovered before. And that's actually one of the reasons that I've been looking for secrets about how to grow on YouTube from books, because I feel like generally that's not something that's being done on YouTube. And I feel like there's a lot of valuable resources here. Unfortunately, one complaint that I hear a lot is people will say, I have great content, but I can't get any views. And here's the thing, In this book, the author talks about what essentially is your distribution plan for your product. Now, you might have a great product, but if you can't get it out to people, then your business is not going to be successful. And I would say the same with YouTube. And what a lot of people will do is they will share on Facebook groups and they will tell their friends and family, and that's great. But I would suggest an even more powerful strategy, and that is find creators that are in a similar subscriber count to you and in the same niche, and get them to all share your video at exactly the same time. And because those channels are all in the same niche, this will trigger the algorithm because it will look like there's more interest in that content. And so I would suggest strategies like that versus just doing what everyone else is doing in order to actually get the results that you're after. So let me ask you this: how do you create something new on YouTube? Honestly, before I read this book, what I thought the answer was to combine two things that had never been combined before to create something new. But actually, we need to be looking a little bit deeper. We need to literally be thinking about what does not exist on the platform. What is something completely new? Because if we are doing what everyone else is doing, then we will get the results that they are getting. Peter Thiel said something in this book that really resonated with me. And he was like, if you're copying bigger and more successful entrepreneurs, then you're not actually learning from them. And I would say the same thing applies to YouTube. If you were copying big YouTube creators, then you're not really learning from them. And this is actually one of the reasons I've eased off watching other creators. While it's good to study them, I feel like if you delve too much into other people's content, it starts to unnecessarily influence you in a way that might not actually be beneficial and authentic to you. And so, while we do need to learn from others, we really also need to figure out what we can do that is completely different and untried. And along those same lines, he actually says that the best practices of today lead to dead ends, and that the key to success is new and untried paths. And while I know that can be a little scary, I actually agree with this, because I've actually seen some evidence in my life when I've done some things that were way outside my comfort zone, but that also produced more results than I expected. I absolutely agree with Peter Thiel when he says that all great businesses are built around a secret that is hidden from the outside. Because I also think that every YouTube channel that is really successful is also successful for specific reasons, a lot of which are usually not shared by these creators. They might seem like they're open, but I think they keep the best strategies for themselves. Now, you might disagree with me, and if you do, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. One thing that he said in this book that really scared me is a startup messed up at its foundation cannot be fixed. And I've often thought that maybe I didn't launch this channel the right way, and then it might be doomed regardless of how hard I work. And if you can relate to this situation, I would love to hear about it in the comment section below. When the author was creating the company PayPal, he used a strategy, and it was to get the most valuable users first. And I completely agree with this, because this is one of the reasons why you want to grow your channel organically, because when you do this, you will get those die-hard subscribers first that will engage with your content, and YouTube will see this behavior, and it will help your videos get boosted out to those newer viewers that might actually also love your content and want to subscribe. He also mentions that poor sales rather than bad products is the most common cause of failure. And I would completely agree with this, because in relation to YouTube, your delivery is usually what can actually make or break the entire video. And while we're all not perfect, I will say I have seen many videos where the creator thought it was great, but when I watched it, I was like, this is really not very good footage. So with that in mind, if you like me filming in my room, would you let me know? And I will see you in my next video.